Hello, we are the Stop Wearing My Clothes podcast. I'm Amy.
I'm Kayla.
One podcast, two sisters.
This is episode number 66, and we will be doing a Vanderpump Rules finale recap with special guest at Mentally Growing 24/7 and also the podcast host of I Hate the Internet, and it is juicy.
But before that, Khloe Kardashian claps back at fans about Tristan and a sneak peek into the upcoming Bachelorette season.
Let's get into the episode.
Okay, I need to hear all the tea about Schwartz and Sandy's. Maybe it's not tea-licious, but that's the one though.
Tea-licious. Oh, look at you. So I went to Schwartz and Sandy. I did a poll, and you guys chose violence. I could have gone to Sir. I could have gone to Pump, because we only have like 2 months left of Pump, and then it's going to go away. I might still go. But we went to Schwartz and Sandy's, me and my husband, and I felt a little guilty, but I did it, and I'm owning it. So we get there, and Schwartz and Sandy has gotten a lot of hate, like on just for obvious reasons, but also because it's like, oh, it's in a strip mall. Yes, it's in like I guess it's technically like a little strip mall, but in California, in LA, there's all those like. It was a very nice area, is what I'm trying to say, and location like 10 out of 10. I thought it was really cute, it was almost like a little tiny, like nice strip mall right outside like a really nice neighborhood in LA. And so literally like a little, I feel like if I lived near there, it would be like a neighborhood, like hangout spot. It had a really good vibe. And I walked in, and obviously the place is immaculate. You guys have seen it on TV, but it's the coolest looking restaurant ever, like full on maximalism, my vibe. And the first person I see is Tom Schwartz as soon as I walk in. Like, I just have a celebrity meter, so I just scan of the room, and I was like, and then I found him. And the second person I saw was someone in a Send It to Daryl sweatshirt, which is Lala's merch of like basically cussing out Raquel, saying that if she wants to say anything, she can send it to Daryl, who is Lala's attorney.
That's funny.
So it's just the level of unhingedness us as a fan base for her to go into the restaurant and wear that is amazing. And Schwartz was working the room. We went and sat down, but I feel like he might have like a meter of like who's a fan and who's not and stuff like that. So he avoided me like the plague. But he went around to almost everyone else. When we got there, we didn't get there late. So we got there we had like a 6:15 reservation, but he was going around talking to people, laughing, sitting in booths with them, bringing people shots. And he was also like, there'd be like people coming in and everyone freaking out and taking like lots of photos being taken and stuff like that. And I would have to say my one complaint is it took me so long to get my first drink, because all I needed was that first one to go up to Tom Schwartz. But we actually got our food before I got my drink, which is the suckiest part. I don't like to eat at the same time. I like to
Me neither.
Drinks before and then eat. So that is why I did not get a picture. I did not talk to Schwartz. I fully intended on it. But as soon as I got the liquid courage I needed, he bounced. Maybe he knew. He was scared. He was scared, guys. Especially now. Especially after the finale, I just hate him. But food was phenomenal.
Okay, I wanted to ask about that.
So we decided to do like apps. So we got, beignets, like New Orleans, like the pastry. It's like a savory one. And it was vegetarian. So it was like cheese and mushrooms, but like in a fried ball. And then instead of powdered sugar, it kind of still looked like it, but it was like rosemary and garlic.
Ooh.
It was bomb. I've never had anything like it, but I absolutely loved it. I would say it's a must. They also really say like, oh, get the lobster corn dog. And I almost did that for myself because my husband's a vegetarian, so I was trying to like find vegetarian options too. But actually the girl in the Send It to Daryl sweatshirt and her mom ordered it. So I went over to them, obviously. And I asked them, I was like, should I get that? And they said it was a little underdone. So I decided not to. Who wants an underdone lobster corn dog? Not me.
I don't even know what a lobster corn dog would be.
It's like a lobster sausage. I don't know. It's like a luxury take on a corn dog, I guess. And it comes with curry mustard. So yeah, and then we had a beet salad. And then we ended up getting, because we just wanted to stay there for a long time. So we would just like order one thing at a time, so it let us stay the longest as possible. So we ordered a second drink and we just hung out for like maybe a half hour, and they were like, "Okay, sure, yeah, I'll order something else." And so we got the roasted chicken with mashed potatoes and broccolini, and it was great. I went to the bath. Oh, I made friends. I actually got their phone number. We're gonna meet up at BravoCon. They're going to BravoCon. But it was like
cool.
very cool. It was like, you could kind of tell, and so I just kind of leaned over. I was like, "Are you guys Vanderpump friends or Vanderpump fans?" And I made lots of friends. It was a solid time. I had the best time. So reality TV news, I definitely am guilty on this one because Khloe Kardashian is mad at a fan for continuing the narrative that her and Tristan might be back together, and I am one of those fans. But I think basically what happened is someone posted on Instagram story or on Instagram insinuating that, and she commented back like a full paragraph. She says, "Stop pushing this narrative. It's tiring, but I suppose you guys will continue the narrative you want regardless of what I say, so what's the point? It's exhausting, and I learned people will only understand to the level of their own perception. Most are stuck at believing the lies because it's the narrative they want to fuel. Have fun. Some things are just as simple as they seem. A family member supporting another family member, especially during a difficult time in life. Example, just how I support Scott and will forever support him. He's my brother, and it's not on an NBA stage. Sad new world. If there's no photos, people think it didn't happen. But yes, I see Scott often. Some things are really just as they are." So she's specifically insinuating there was a picture of Kim Kardashian North at a Lakers game, and they had a sign that said Tristan Thompson, and it basically blew up the internet. And she's comparing it to her relationship with Scott and Kim just supporting Tristan just like Khloe supports Scott.
So now they're saying they're not together. I was convinced.
I was too. But I mean, I don't know. It seems like it's definitely, I guess they're just co-parenting, and, we'll see what happens. But I think there's just a difference because the level of support. Like, for example, Scott Disick's birthday, Kris Jenner, I think, did a post. Tristan got 8 Instagram slides.
The
level of support.
Yeah. Didn't Scott do the hanky-panky with other people too?
I'm sure he did at some point. He was pretty
so
hopped
I'm
up
just
on
saying.
drugs. But it's not the same as Tristan. Tristan is on another level. Diabolical, yes. Yeah. And then, this was actually surprising. So we already reported on Chrishelle and G-Flip getting married, but the picture, I didn't notice till later, G-Flip is wearing a cast. G-Flip is not currently wearing a cast. So it means the wedding happened when she was wearing a cast, and that was a year ago. So the wedding actually confirmed by Chrishelle happened summer 2022.
Wow.
So they actually, when they posted, or they're about to celebrate their 1-year anniversary.
I guess people just like really want to keep, like, once you're like out there on social media and you're like famous, it's like, I want to keep one thing to myself.
Yeah.
Might as well have fun with it.
I get that.
Yeah.
I saw a video of Chrishelle with G-Flip, and she's like, I was just thinking about it. She's like talking to G-Flip. She's like, I started as your video hoe, and now I'm your wife, or something like that. Yeah. It was funny.
That is funny. Oh my! So who would have guessed from the ultimate? No, Love is Blind. From Love is Blind, Colleen and Matt, they're actually moving in together after 2 years of being married. Not just dating.
It's really wild, but then it's not even like permanent. It's not like they're going like buying a house. They're like gonna rent an apartment together. It was a People magazine. Me and Matt are going to move in together in the next 2 weeks, she said. We don't have the finances to buy by any means, like fair, but we're going to rent in Dallas, and then that gives us time to really find the perfect home for what works for us. And she said to kind of adapt to now living with someone, it takes a while. It takes a second, and both of us didn't want to rush changing that and all of a sudden expediting that for other people. And I mean, people are still saying just like red flag central.
Yeah, and why don't they have enough money? Sorry, but that seems a little sketch too.
Yeah, they need to up their reality TV sponsorships. Get it going.
Something.
She's a ballerina. I guess ballerinas don't pay well.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember what he does.
Yeah, because she's probably not like a famous ballerina. She's just a ballerina.
Yeah, she's not. I think I know
she's not a famous
ballerina. Misty Copeland. I think that's a famous ballerina. I know.
She ain't no Misty Copeland.
I probably have. Maybe it's Missy, not Misty. It's one of those.
Whatever. And Love is Blind season 5 is coming in September, and I'm freaking pumped. I love Love is Blind. I think it's got to be one of my favorites.
Thank the Lord, because I feel like normally it's so long in between seasons, so we really don't have to wait that long. And then this is the really the mind-blowing one. Tayshia Adams from The Bachelor and Luke Gulbranson from Summer House were seen looking at engagement rings. I know. What do you think? Do you think it's real? Is it staged? What's happening? Are they really is it going to be like a hard launch once they're engaged, or are they going to wait till they're married? Like, we haven't even gotten a hard launch.
Or were they just looking at jewelry and people are assuming?
Her hand was like this with a ring. It'll be up on the screen. I mean, it's very hard to, and even like the insider who saw them, like they were happily looking at engagement rings. And it's not confirmed if one was purchased or not.
I guess maybe with her too, she just has had so much like out in the public. She wants to keep it like to herself. But
There's also a Dumois rumor that and it goes back and forth. There's two kind of things going on. There is a potential new Bravo show called Lakehouse, and it's happening around where Luke Gulbranson is from, and there's some rumors that Tayshia and Luke will be on this show together.
So that's kind of maybe how it's gonna they're gonna come out with their relationship.
For the show.
Yeah,
maybe. So it's not confirmed. This is all rumors, but
she's also gonna be in that other show coming up, and so is she gonna talk about it then?
Probably not, because it still has nothing to do with her dating life, right? Probably. So I'm assuming.
Is it over? Like, is it already filmed?
Oh yeah, it's been stopped filming for I don't know a couple weeks now. Because Joe was off for. Well, the thing was, my kind of prediction is Joe was off social media for like almost the entirety of filming, where Tayshia wasn't. So it makes me think that Joe actually lasts a little bit longer on the show versus Tayshia. So something to think about. Moving on to Bachelor news. Did you see all of the Bachelor announcements of all the shows?
I did see the Golden Bachelor one.
What do you think about that? Because at first, it used to be called the Senior Bachelor. I'm kind of glad. I like the name change.
I like it too. I don't know that I want to watch old people. I know that's rude, but I just am not sure that I actually want to.
Yeah, I think it needs to be in the 50s bracket, and I think it needs to be like a dad of someone who we already know, like from hometowns or something, or it be some type of known person. For us to like already be invested in their journey. I really think it has to.
I agree, because I'm not drawn in yet. I will say that.
Same. Yeah, I think we'll do headlines, but like I'll watch it, and if it ends up being good enough where we do recaps, I'll do it. But TBD.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we are for sure getting a new Bachelor season, and we got an announcement that we're getting another Bachelor in Paradise season. So it kind of no news, but you never know until they are officially picked up and announce it. We got lots of weddings last weekend, Amy.
I saw Colton Underwood and got married, and that Olivia Wilde showed up wearing a wedding dress. That's what people are saying.
To Colton's wedding?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just white. Yeah,
I didn't know they were connected. Oh my god, that's so funny. And we saw Chris Harrison and Lauren Zima were there. I didn't really pay attention to any other guest list, but Olivia Wilde, why is she there?
I know, why was she?
Yeah, so he got married, and then also Sydney from Colton's season got married. Tayshia was actually in attendance. And then we just have so many cool events coming from Hannah G and Kaylin. They went to Vegas for Hannah G's bachelorette party. They had like a Barbie theme night. They had cardboard cutouts. Her
outfits, I cannot. She's so beautiful to me.
The funny thing is, it's a who wore it best, because Hannah G, her, the really short white kind of strapless flippy one. Raquel wore it first, and it's on her Instagram. Some people are making that connection.
Okay, Hannah G wins.
Yeah, obviously. And then also Kaylin had her bridal shower, and I'm just, all of a sudden, I think we're going to be hit with so much wedding content later on in the year.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I'm excited.
Because who else? Isn't there another? It's Kaylin and Hannah, but isn't there one other couple that's getting married soon?
Mari and
Oh, yes.
Kenny.
I saw that more recently.
They got matching tattoos, a little palm tree for like their Bachelor in Paradise time.
Yeah.
I thought Becca and Thomas, but not anymore. I think we're going to get more of a 2024 wedding.
Mm-hmm.
There's Jason and Caitlyn are always a big question mark, but we don't really know.
Tia
and Baby Daddy,
yeah, because they're not actually married yet, right? No,
I don't think so. It happened pretty quick. Yeah, for sure. So we'll see. You know what I'm also really excited for, because it's the only last standing Bachelor in Paradise couple from the most recent season, Michael and Danielle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really, really, really hoping by the end of the year we get an engagement.
I do too, but I also really, really, really hope that they don't get married on like Bachelor in Paradise or something.
Oh no,
I want them to have like a classic hometown one.
Yes, yeah, because she moved to Ohio for him.
Mm-hmm. I could see Mari and Kenny getting married on Bachelor in Paradise. Maybe
that fits more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what if he gets married naked, like he showed up on Bachelor in Paradise?
Clayton breaks the internet once again. He and Susie had some fun little TikToks because they had gone to the same like charity event together, or they were both invited to it. And they're just messing with our minds.
I know, it's like Rachel all over again, but at the same time, I love it so much.
I like that they have so much fun with it, and it's like they like make fun of themselves.
Yeah, I almost worry, because I know it's a possibility that both of them are on Paradise. I just worry, like, they have such a good dynamic as exes right now, and I don't want anything to mess with that.
I agree, and Paradise is bound to ruin that.
Yeah, but I absolutely loved it. I ate that shit up. It was great. And then we finally got to see, we saw like a little glimpse of it when we saw like the undercover brother Bachelorette sneak peek a while ago, but we see in full now Charity's a night one dress. What did you think of it?
Love it. I am like super, super into pink right now. And I love that it still has a sparkle element, but it's not just like the classic like gold or white or anything. Like I like that it's unique.
I couldn't agree more. And I love that she doesn't do any necklaces or anything, like a bear with this like simple drop earrings, her hair down, and the color is so good on her. These pinks and purples, sparkly. It's the dress to meet your future husband in. Yep. Approved. And also just kind of makes me excited for her style. I don't think she was a real style like icon in Zach's season, I would say, but I am excited to see her slay different looks throughout the season. And this made me feel like the first choice was really good, so hoping she stays on that track.
Agreed.
Now, Amy can't be with us for this recap. We have a guest. She has to go take care of her kiddos, but me and Sam from the I Hate the Internet podcast go hard on Vanderpump finale, as well as Ariana on Watch What Happens Live. All right. So we are here. Is it Sam? It's Sam, right? Not Samantha. You prefer Sam?
Yeah, Sam's good. Samantha means I'm in trouble.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So it just depends on some of your opinions later on. I might have to throw a Samantha out there. But Sam is here from I Hate the Internet pod. Earlier in this episode, I kind of give a rundown, but tell me who you are, your podcast. I want to know.
So you guys
want to know.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I have a podcast called I Hate the Internet. It's currently on Spotify. And it's basically just pop culture. It's mostly Bravo because that is pop culture right now. It's Bravo. But you can also follow me on Mentally Growing 24/7 on TikTok. That's where you'll see me engage and talk every day there, and Instagram and Twitter and the whole shebang. So yeah.
I'm not going to lie, just right now, I just read it as Mentally Growing 247, 24/7. That, it's connecting. Great name. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Her best episode is because I was on it. It came out on Monday. I'm just kidding.
Where's the lie?
Where's
the lie?
So be sure to check out her most recent episode. I'm sure she's continuing covering Vanderpump Rules with all the coolest guests in Bravo. So excited to follow along with that. And let's get into it. Before we hit the Vanderpump Rules finale, I want to do a little bit of a news update, but really I think there's only one that matters. And a couple hours before the Vanderpump Rules finale, was going to air. We got a Page 6 report that Tom Sandoval and Raquel have broken up. What are your thoughts on that? I have to know.
First of all, can we talk about my shirt right now? It says, I survived Sandoval.
You and your merch. I love it. I still don't have Sandoval merch, and it's my biggest regret in life. I
had one of my girlfriends make this for me because that's how dedicated I am. But that's how I feel about that is I'm just surviving. Hearing that, I'm like, this isn't true. This is in my opinion, I think the second she was put on a plane, that's when they stopped communicating, that they stopped being in a relationship. But then obviously last night we heard from Ariana that apparently there's wonderful little secret love notes being sent to the house. So clearly I must be wrong, but I don't know. I don't know. It's ridiculous to me.
Yes, and Ariana says she knew it was from Tom because it was addressed to Tom Sandoval in Raquel's handwriting. And I don't know if it's just me, but when I like picture that in my brain, I picture like a 5-year-old's handwriting, like in crayons.
I picture someone writing in their notebook, Mrs. Tom Sandoval, like a 13-year-old with like hearts and flowers and like butterflies. That's what I imagine.
Yes. So when that came out, I was losing my mind. I didn't know what to think. No. But then today, because it said Tom Sandoval and Raquel had not responded, to Page 6's thing. And now Tom Sandoval is saying that the source is not credible. So between that and then our queen Ariana saying she doesn't believe it. Yeah. I stand with her always. So I don't believe either. And then with these letters, but it's still just like this big question mark. And at least you would think that they wouldn't even be allowed to say if they're broken up or not before the reunion, because there's that big cliffhanger of like, are you in love? You know what I mean?
Correct.
So it'll be really interesting what like continues to come out in like the news, along with how these reunions are going to play out in the next 3 weeks.
Oh yeah. And when we have 3 parts, I just can't imagine. There's so many optics, I think. And I think that's the problem with Tom Sandoval is he's going off of optics. And okay, so if we say we're together, what's that look like? Well, if we say we're broken up, well, what does that look like? And it's just, like Lala said, it's pretty easy. Are you in love or are you not in love? Like, it should be simple.
It should be. Yeah.
But it's not. It's too many optics. He's thinking way too much. And I think that's why he's having these panic attacks and shaking. And it's because he doesn't know how to fix the thing to make him look good, because he used to be the good guy and now he's a bad guy. And it's too much for him.
Any type of emotion we saw on the Vanderpump Rules finale is just so obviously, if it's real, it's all about him and how he's going to look, how he feels, what's going to happen to him. It has nothing to do with Ariana and people he actually hurt.
No.
And it boils my blood. And with that said, let's get into Tom and Ariana's last conversation. I was so impressed by Ariana. I'm just trying to think of myself in that same situation. She just spoke so eloquently. She got all of her points across so great. What was kind of your standout in that conversation?
A couple things. One, I posted a TikTok today about it where, as I've gotten older, I've realized that in these situations, a lot of the times what you find is that you see all the blame on the other woman. The other woman is the problem. They're the this, they're the that, but you don't really focus on the actual person you were in a relationship with, and they're truly the one that screwed you over. And I appreciated her like screaming in his face. It's not about Raquel. It's about you. You're the one that I was in a relationship with. You're the one that I lived with. And you're the one that looks insane right now. And as a joke, and I love that she didn't stop. She kind of kept her foot on the gas the whole time about that. Stop trying to sit there and make excuses. You had an affair with my best friend. She just kept saying it over and over to him because he kept trying to backpedal out of it and he wasn't getting it. And it's like, dude, and to watch him, and everybody has said this on the internet, the fact that when he went to go see everybody else on this little like tour that he was on, this apology tour, he was crying, he was remorseful, he said sorry, he was upset, or he was at least faking that he was upset. With Ariana, he's like, you want a coffee? No, okay. Well, we're all going to die. So, well, anyway, I was like, what is going on? What is wrong with you?
I can't. And we'll give more to even like Rachel or Raquel, whatever we want to call her. But like the level of just lack of empathy, it's chilling to watch how he interacted with Ariana and how he isn't taking responsibility and he continues just to give reasonings.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. A lot of things, I like how Ariana said, like, yeah, like it's very relatable, those things that you're going through. You know, you hit a certain age, you're feeling all these things. You just being in a relationship for that long, there's so many hurdles. And that's normal, but it's how you handle it that matters. And just everything that's happened since. It's just, if he could be like, Ariana, I'm so wrong. I'm so sorry. Like, I will never forgive myself. I don't expect you to ever forgive me, but just know from the bottom of my heart, I know I was wrong and I should, and we are never going to get that. Ever.
No, he can't do that because everything is a but. Like he'll say those things, but then he'll have a but right after with her. With everybody else, he kind of like it depends what he's saying specifically. Like he really tries to mince words. And that was one of the other things that I found very interesting was that he kept taking her words somewhat out of context and spinning them to his narrative. Like they had a conversation about the therapy, which was shocking to me, that she point blank said that they basically never went to therapy. And the fact that he went on Howie Mandel, and that was a massive, massive moment of that interview. It wasn't just like some little blip. He talked about that for a very long extended period of time with Howie and his daughter about they went to marriage counseling and they did this and they did that. And that's basically how he tried to break up with her. And it never even happened. I was like, wait a minute. Did she just say what I think she just said?
He's lost his mind.
It's wild.
He doesn't think further than 5 minutes ahead from that time.
No.
And it's diabolical at this moment. And one thing that really broke my heart is I was also glad that Ariana still could talk about how she was his ride or die.
Yeah.
And her line of, I would have followed you anywhere. It just like broke me in half.
Yeah.
Like, and I believe it with all of my being. I mean, we know how much she's covered for him now more than ever because of this finale with Miami Girl. And she has stood by his side no matter what. And just the fact that he just threw that away is so upsetting.
Yeah, because I think the thing that's the most upsetting about that is that he was not willing to change or become better for her. But she, like, I was out of all the people to agree with, Jax Taylor.
I know.
He said, like, she literally changed, like, her moral compass, like her being of who she is. She explicitly said she did not want children. She explicitly said she didn't want to get married, which from what I hear in straight man world is like a wet dream that they would love to have that. And he finally finds the one woman in LA that is like, yeah, you don't want to get married, don't have kids. Woohoo. And she changed that for him because that's how much she loves him. And that's not like to him, I think he thinks all these things are just so random. But she's like a full-blown adult. And she's like, no, like, this is a sign of commitment to you that I'm willing to give you my DNA because you keep saying you want a child so bad. And so you're right. I believe her when she's like, I was fully committed to you. I was ride or die. I loved when she said everything that we also as the audience have been thinking, which is that he's very immature. He only wanted to be with her because he wanted somebody to say yes to him all the time. You know, when he kept saying to her, like, he was saying everything. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, when he started talking about Raquel's looks, he like got very upward and pointed and was like, well, it's not about her looks. And it's like, that is one of her biggest insecurities. And you're a trash human for pointing that out. You shouldn't have to point that out, but you're doing it anyway. Yeah.
Yes. Like she's literally giving her eggs from her ovaries to him. And all he's ever given her is like a bacon looking A on his ass. Like the tattoo from Vegas, I just watched that episode and I was just like, that is just such a representation of what he's bringing to the relationship.
You're an ass. That's what it means.
There we go.
You're an ass. Like, It was wild. And the other thing that I found really disgusting and horrible was obviously we'll talk about it later on, but the talk about her mental health and using that against her. And also they had referenced that 2 weeks prior to this conversation, he had tried to break up with her. And from what I got from that, what she was saying was, okay, so if you want to break up, then you are going to break up. Not me. I don't want to break up. So if you want to, you look me in the eye and say, I'm done and over with, and you can leave the house and you can break up with me. But he didn't do that because I guarantee you, because Kristen has said it on her podcast, he does not want to leave that house for whatever reason. He thinks it's stompy. It's his house for whatever reason. He refuses to leave. There's too much pride attached to it. And the way that he kept trying to frame it was basically, she was like, I'm never leaving. I'm keeping you hostage and screw you. And I was like, that's not the vibe I'm getting from her. The vibe I'm getting for her was, I'm good, but if you're not, there's the door. Bye. Have a great life.
He did not have, it's not a prison. He can walk right out the door. There's like easy lock. You just twist the wrist just like that. You walk
You're
outside.
40. You're 40.
Yeah, you don't climb into bed with your life partner who, it just mixed messages, and he's so all over the place. I just can't.
Yeah, he was a mess.
Let's talk about Schwartz for a second, because we see the first on-camera conversation between Sandoval and Schwartz, and the first thing that gets brought up is their business, not Ariana.
Right.
The Yelp reviews went from 4 point something to 1. That's the first thing that comes out of Schwartz's mouth. And one thing I found interesting is, you see, it's a very brief moment, but Schwartz tells Sandoval, she's like, can you do a post,
Yes.
And so he was the one who probably planted that idea to do the post and to apologize to his business before Ariana.
Yeah.
And then you say later on when Schwartz is apologizing to Ariana, Ariana specifically brings that up, and Schwartz is like, yeah, I don't condone that. He shouldn't have done that. It was your idea.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Thoughts, Sam. I need it all.
These two men truly hate women. They despise women. Mm-hmm. They despise their life partners in a very sick and twisted way. And the fact that, and everybody says this, and sadly, even some of the cast members have said this. The only one I haven't heard say it is literally Ariana, about how he's just such a good guy, and he's wrapped up in Sandoval's crap, and he's this and he's that. And I mean, Katie's right. They're this really messed up couple. They're lovers, and it's really creepy, the codependency between the two of them, and the way that he just kept saying Sandoval kept saying, if I just wanted to get Raquel and I on the same page because we wanted to do this, we wanted to do that. And it's what are you talking about? Why are you in this co-conspiracy? And then the same thing with the episode before and the episode before that, the two of them are doing this cosplay where they think we as the audience are stupid. And even if we didn't know about Sandoval, we, the audience, are not dumb. We're very intelligent. And you two look insane playing this little theater presentation of, oh, we didn't know, and oh, we didn't do this, and the timeline that, and timeline this. Schwartz sitting there pretending he doesn't know the timeline and that he hasn't been involved in this the entire time is one of the most, that to me is almost more sick some ways than Sandoval.
Because I did the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know why. And Katie kept saying you're lying. And I don't know why he won't just admit I did know. We already have a timestamp that you knew, and it's called October, and it's called going on a ski trip with Joe and her, and say we have a timestamp with pictures.
Participant.
Yeah, there's evidence. If we're gonna sit here and play CSI, there's evidence that's hardcore that you were fully 100% a participant in this entire thing. And you're more disgusting to me, in my opinion. He's more disgusting because he keeps lying and trying to gaslight all of us. Katie all the time.
Mhm.
And I don't understand why he keeps doing it. It's so sick and gross. And I wish he would, I think I sent it either to you or somebody where I was like, I want the two of them to hate each other next season with like a fiery passion.
You shared that on your story, and I copied you, and I shared it too, because that type of Tom versus Tom would just
I want it so bad.
Happiness.
Yes.
And honestly, yeah, other than just happiness of loving the drama,
Yeah.
I think in the long run, separating will be the best for Sandoval and Schwartz. They're toxic. They feed into each other. And I like, even just alone of what he said to Katie at BravoCon of, oh, he's not there for me. Trust me.
That was sick.
Like, it just shows how he's in it, as well as Ariana saying the video that she saw of Raquel and him was at Schwartz's house. Schwartz was their rendezvous place.
Yep.
And there's nothing, he knew from the very beginning, he knew every part of it. Yeah, maybe Sandoval was feeding him a few lies of what was happening at home and what type of conversations he's having with Ariana.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Ariana was Schwartz's groomsman. Like, he has no loyalty to anyone but Sandoval, and it's just so obvious. And he doesn't care about anyone but Sandoval, or other than himself, because he kept throughout the episode, he kept saying, you know, so worried about his reputation, and he's like, I'm canceled, man. And you know, like, it's all about him.
Oh, it was sick at the end of that when Sandoval goes, we'll just stay off the internet. That was the other thing, is Sandoval kept saying things so nonchalantly, and so would Raquel. Very much just these throwaway things, like it's not a big deal. Like, just stay off the internet, you're fine. It's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
And Ariana finding that video, normally I would have just deleted it. It was just so casual. Oh, because I just delete things all the time. Like,
he doesn't care.
I never felt the need to delete anything from my phone just in case my husband wants to look at it.
Same.
Ever. And so the fact that he just throws it out so casually and doesn't realize it, because it's just such a normal, like, as much as drinking coffee in the morning. That's how easy it is for him.
Yeah. It's like drinking a beer in the morning, drinking a Coors Light, which Coors Light is like, get me away from this, because Coors Light was a sponsor of this episode. I swear to God.
Oh yeah,
I swear to God they were. It was Coors Light everywhere. I was like, Coors Light is like, get me out of this. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, when Schwartz is at Katie's, he's like, can I get a Coke? She's like, oh sure. He goes in and grabs a Coors Light instead. Like,
and then like Raquel's like chasing with a Coors Light. I was like,
so bad. So bad. For a little comedic relief, let's talk about James Kennedy and his scene where he calls his ex-fiancee Raquel with speakerphone with Ali, Lala, and Katie.
Thank God. Thank God. Because without them, it really would have been like the most depressing reality TV show episode in the history of reality TV. Oh God. Am I allowed to swear on here?
Please. I prefer it.
When they're talking back and forth and he keeps referring basically to Tom Sandoval's cock, I was dying laughing. I was like, thank God for this. And then watching Ali be like, I was like, yes, this is my Olympics. Like,
so good.
I was so like happy to have him on screen and to play this part. I kind of wish a little bit that Lala was more involved, because Lala and James very much have been like, you know, twin flames throughout this. And she has been a huge conflict in their relationship when they were dating, after they were dating. And I wish that Lala could have gotten a couple stingers in there, like to her. And what was the most shocking is she literally didn't care. She did not care. She was like, you know, you're not really the one to be talking to me. And it's like, yeah, you're right. But like, why aren't you like, bye, click, nothing. There's nothing there.
I am like scared of her. I guess you're scared of what you don't understand, but the way nothing about Raquel this episode made me anything relate, because there is relatability in this. We're all humans. We all make mistakes, but she didn't even try to go. She didn't even see like Sandoval's like, oh, you know, like to us going to hell. She's like, we don't need to go to hell or something like that. Like, we don't belong there. I'm like, we are pathological liars. I think we see that in the sneak peek for the reunion. And it's just beyond. But funny what you say about Lala, because I actually overall, maybe I was actually in the middle of watching it again. I haven't watched it fully for the second time, but I'm going to.
Oh yeah, I already have 2, so don't worry about it.
But I was a little surprised the lack of presence of Lala specifically.
Yeah, same.
I was expecting a little bit more of a role for her in this kind of post Sandoval. I mean, she's wearing her Send It to Daryl sweatshirt. I was trying to think of the timeline, the turnaround there. Like,
oh, she's a queen. That's why I think James Kennedy was able to get his worm with a mustache out, is because of, I think it's Janet. She does all of their like merch. And I think that's how he got his out so fast. Cause I was like, how are they doing this? This is insane. Same with the sandwich shop, which at the end of the episode, Sheena was 100% wearing one of their sweatshirts. And I was dying that they had to blur it out. I thought that was so funny. But the turnaround is insane.
it's crazy. And the amount of money they're making from this merch.
Rich.
Just like go. Oh my goodness. And the Uber One commercial that came out that morning of Vanderpump Rules.
Obsessed.
I was jumping up and down. I loved it. I felt a little of like, oh, like Katie's not in it. That's kind of interesting, just those 3. But I
I thought it was weird that James Kennedy wasn't in it. I'm sitting here watching studio, Lala, right? Lala's like wooka wooka, and I was like, no, that's James Kennedy. What's going on?
Yeah, you know what? You're so right.
Yeah, Katie, whatever. Because I know Katie doesn't want to be a pop star. She's the one making fun of everybody for being a pop star.
Sure.
Which is great. But I was like, I understand they're trying to be like girl power, but I was like, I feel like James is one of the girls now, and I'm here for that. I'm here for that.
I wait. From James Kennedy is doing a See You Next Tuesday, June 13th at SUR, hosted by Jax Taylor.
And you're gonna go.
I'm gonna do everything in my power to be there. Yes, I'm a little confused because I don't see any tickets, and then one person says reserved tables. I went on their website. I DM'd SUR. I'm trying to figure out how I can make sure I do not miss this, and there's nothing weird. Like I don't want to just show up and they like.
Does it surprise you that there's chaos? I mean, we're talking about Jax Taylor. You're you might have to go on Craigslist to go find a ticket knowing him. Like, let's be real.
I just saw this morning too, SUR's hosting a viewing party for the reunion.
DM him. Literally DM Jax. He's a psycho.
Okay. I'm gonna do it. I'll keep you guys updated.
He'll answer you. You know he will.
I'm gonna do it.
Do it.
Okay, amazing. So I'll keep you updated on that, guys.
I love that.
So we got into a little bit, but Sandoval and Raquel, that whole scene, I think my main take on that was everyone saying, oh, they said I loved each other, the declaration of love. That's not what was going on.
No.
I went into it with expectations of like, wow, they just must have such a deep connection. Like there has to be something there for them to blow up their lives like this. I think there's more chemistry between me and like a rock. I don't know. I can't think of a better metaphor, but like zero
rock, Raquel. You got it.
I don't think they've ever had that long of a conversation before, at least like clothed. And the fact that he said they love you, she took it as I love you, and then he can't deal with anything that's just he makes it the easiest it possibly can be for him in any moment, and the easiest way in that moment was for him to say I love you too. Please speak, because I don't even know what to say right now.
Well, the chemistry that they have is made in a lab, and it's called cocaine. That's what the chemistry is. Like, that's the chemistry that they have. Because when he walked in, the first thing, other than the fact that Graham seems to really like him, I'm like, that's interesting that Graham the dog is so excited to see Tom Sandoval. I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
The other thing was, I'm sitting there looking at this man's eyes because my husband and I, when we watched the show, we're always joking around about like Tom Sandoval's whacked out on something. And that's the first thing I thought of was, holy cow, this man showed up to this whacked out of his mind, because he, especially when he was sitting on the couch, he looked so unhinged and like he was trying to stay on top of the words and see what she said. And the worst part for me, the most cringiest, psychotic part for me, and thank God, and Bravo needs to keep doing the fourth wall crap, is them being like, oh, I can't kiss you. I don't know. I just can't kiss you. The cameras. But I thought we heard that they tried to do a double take of that because they did kiss. And then they tried to do the no, we didn't for optics. And so I'm like, Bravo, if they kiss and you have it on video and you're not showing it to us, you're evil. And I do not appreciate you trying to trick me. And that was the worst part. The other part I found very interesting. And of course, like the I love you charade garbage or whatever. The part that was creepy to me was the part where she had said that she felt alone. And she kept saying, I feel alone. I feel isolated. I feel like the only person I have right now is you. And that creeped me out and gave me like shivers down my spine because I feel like that's what he wanted is I want you to only believe me, to only be in love with me. And I feel like he kind of did that to Ariana too, where he kind of isolated her. And someone, I don't remember who it was, if it was TikTok, Instagram, someone brought up a great point that he kind of, I don't want to say preyed on Ariana, but kind of preyed on Ariana at a very vulnerable time in her life when her dad literally just died. And I feel like he's doing the same thing. He's isolating her and having nobody else kind of around her, because what ends up happening is when no one else is around her and nobody else can go, oh, that doesn't seem right, or oh, that's gross, or oh, that's not wrong. He's very controlling of the situation. When she said that, and then when she said like, oh, I don't want to be in the same situation that, you kind of already done this to someone you really love. I'm like, sweetheart, he's done this twice, the exact same thing twice.
On camera. Who knows
on
more?
Camera. And he does not love you. He doesn't love you at all.
He's not capable.
No. Sociopath.
Yeah, like definitely when she said that and she kind of almost like took it back at the end, she was like, except for you, but then I don't even know about you because of it. Even Raquel's like,
she was kind of spiraling. She was kind of like, whoa, what have I done? And I think that's why she said, bye, peace out, and said, see ya, and never came back.
At the same time, watching her interviews, like talking about like the sex and like giggling and being giddy, like
something's off. Something ain't right.
Something is wrong with this woman. Something's wrong.
Needs to see
not
things.
Normal behavior.
No, she's a little sinister, but also I think that there's a social, how to say this politically correct and not be insensitive. There is she gives me vibes as someone who has a child who has issues with social cues. That's where I'm going to land with this, is she also gives me the vibes that there's a social cue issue, because the way that she reacts to certain things, it's like she's not understanding the people around her. Like the best example I can give is when her and Sheena, Sheena's freaking out and very upset and very concerned. And her reaction back to her is like almost like nothing is there. And that's like almost the only like excuse I can give her, is either she's a sociopath or she struggles with some type of social cue issue and she's not understanding the gravity of her reactions, of the way she's speaking, of the way she communicates with people. And if that's the case, then I really do hope she is somewhere getting help and understanding where she's coming from, understanding how she's coming off, and understanding that her choices don't match her reaction in the way that they're kind of going back and forth. It's very concerning. It's so concerning to me. And I'm trying so hard to see her in a different light, because like you said, I think earlier, like everybody makes mistakes, things happen, like people have, like, it's the only thing I'm like gripping to, is that has to be, because otherwise she's literally a sociopath. And that scares me. Scares me.
Maybe a little bit of both. I understand what you're saying and it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
For sure. So, I mean, hopefully wherever she is right now, she is getting help.
I really hope she is.
Who knows? Crazier things have happened. Like maybe in a couple years she could have some type of art. Like I don't know what's going to happen with her, but I mean,
run away from Tom, girl. Run away if you're listening, which I don't know. Run away from Tom. I'm begging you. Run away from him.
Raquel looked on my Instagram stories once.
Girl, hi, right here. Focus right here. Do not go back to this man. It's the smartest thing you'll ever do. The smartest thing you'll ever do.
Yes. I mean, page 6 says she dipped out. We'll see. And the fact that they used that phrasing made me want to like cry and scream at the same. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Keep dipping.
Yep. So I want to talk about Kristen Dowdy. She is back after 3 years of not being on Vanderpump Rules. I liked it. I thought it was going to be better. Was that your take too? Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was very Lisa Vanderpump of them. I felt like Lisa had her hand in it. She's like, I hate this woman so much. Let's make sure that she has flip-flops on and she has pajamas on, and let's make sure we make her look crazy. And I was like, oh my God.
The dog out the window.
I was like, right. I was like, I'm like, they do this girl dirty. So dirty. And it's like, what has she done worse than anybody on this show? But you're saying that Tom Sandoval, like, you're a good person, you just did a bad thing. Why can't Kristen get that same thing? It was and her out there with that giant crystal that looked like a butt plug.
Yeah.
Dying laughing. I was like, I love that. And they're like, no lube, no spit, nothing. I was like, that's my girls right there.
Quoting Beyonce.
My queen.
Right. And I am glad we got to see the moment of watching that, they had such a tumultuous relationship, like in the beginning, and, have Tom Sandoval in common, and watching them both call him their ex.
And they're like prom holding each other. They're like, our ex-boyfriend. I was like, this is women's rights. This is women's rights right here.
It was the full circle moment I think all of us OG watchers wanted.
Yes.
But I do think they could have maybe gotten into the nitty gritty a little bit of maybe the end of Kristen and Sandoval, and I think that should have been talked about. And I get that I think Kristen was being very sensitive to Ariana in that moment, which love it. But I guess maybe just me as a messy viewer, I just really wanted them to get in the nitty gritty of everything. And it was very polished.
Well, Kristen's an investigator. So that's the part that was upsetting to me, as like you said, as a long-standing viewer. Next to Stassi, those two women were FBI investigators. Okay, this woman flew another woman from across the country just to pull up to a bar and say, you cheated on your girlfriend. Like, and so all we get is some dirty flip-flops and a crystal dildo, and that's it. I was like, come on. Just like you said, that's a great example. Like, why couldn't they have sat down and just been like, okay, so like, can we like really just give the audience the timeline here, and then we can move on, and then we can never talk about it again. So there wasn't a lot of validation as a huge Kristen Doty fan and a huge Vanderpump Rules fan. I just wanted just a little more.
Agreed. And I wonder if, because I know deleted scenes come out afterwards, right? We're probably going to get a few more scenes, I would think.
I
or maybe
hope
even
so.
like some flashbacky ones once we get to the reunion of like, this also happened on camera that alludes to what we're talking about now. So, I mean, I'll keep my eye out for that. I'm hoping there's something.
Same.
Sandoval and Lisa Vanderpump. I was so
disappointed.
I don't know what Lisa sees in the Toms. Like over and over giving. I mean, I guess they're still in business together. I don't even know what more to say.
As someone who has an 8-year-old, it felt like to me she was calming down an 8-year-old. I don't feel like she believed what this is how I feel. I don't feel like she believed what she was saying. Okay. I felt like she was trying to calm down a child. Like, yes, sweetie, it's fine. You're okay. No, you are a good person. Everything's fine. It's totally cool. Don't worry about it. Like, you're going to be okay. Shut up. Like, stop crying. Stop having a mental breakdown. Like, it was like watching a child cry over like a crayon. I was like, what are you doing? Why are we so upset? That you look insane right now. And I think she was just like, okay, quiet, good little boy, good job, sweetie, sit down, and kind of just left it at that. That's what I'm hoping is what happened. Because it was not, I hated it.
Not a good look.
No.
Not a good look. Yeah, I really think it was actually not as much in the moment with Lisa Vanderpump and Sandoval that got me. It was her interview we were seeing. And
Yeah.
her just being so kind of nonchalant, like, yeah, he did a bad thing, but other people do too. And I mean, there's just a fine line. And I think she's just way too easy on him. And I think she's continued to be too easy on him. And that's why I think he knew he could have get away with this with Lisa. Like, I don't know. That's why it was just disappointing. And she even gave like a little taste of that when she was on Watch What Happens Live, like a bit ago too. So,
Yep.
main word, disappointing.
Yeah, I think that she treats them, I think she just has higher standards for the women. So when they don't meet those standards, she's harder on them. And then when the boys mess up, she knows that they're dum-dums and they're literally like children. So she doesn't expect a lot out of them because they act like children. And also, he only has 5% stake in Tom, which is really dumb on his part. But he only has 5% stake. So honestly, whatever he does really doesn't affect her. She's kind of like, I'm smarter than you. I basically used your name for a restaurant and I got you to only contribute 5%. She's a genius.
Oh,
Yeah, she's amazing. So I don't think it affects her. She's like, okay, whatever, go ahead, be a loser. I don't care. She doesn't expect a lot out of them. So when they mess up, she's like, yeah, I kind of knew. I think she's like, yeah, whatever. You do this all the time. I don't really care.
Yeah, hot take. I think you're totally right. And I mean, who knows? Maybe he'll have to become a murderer for Lisa to finally be like, I'm gonna separate myself from you. So I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen. But
I'm just saying, you can't convince me that she doesn't know people that could do that. I'm just saying,
there's some sketch. I'll take your word for it.
I'm just saying, she's got some sketchy things going on in the behind the scenes. If you ever want to get into the arsenal of it all, you let me know. We'll have a conversation about that.
I love a good Marge buzzword. Real Housewives of New Jersey. All right, but we're here to talk about Vanderpump.
Of course.
Right. Schwartz crashing girls' night to apologize to Ariana after underwhelming text message that I think he waited 2 whole days to even reach out to her and then gives her that. I'm just so impressed with Ariana, the way she was so matter of fact.
Yep.
And started the conversation like, I wear the pants in this conversation. This is how this conversation's going to go.
Yep.
And if it's not, you can just leave.
Yep. I was very, very proud of her. I continued to want to grow up to be her this entire episode. I was like, when I become an adult, I want to be Ariana Madix because she's amazing. I was really actually now that I think about what shocked me the most, we never saw that coming, that Tom was going to show up to that dinner. There was no release of it. There was no clip of it. There was no talking on Instagram about it. Nobody talked about that. So when that happened, I was like, okay, Flop Teeny, here we go. But we're back to Mexico and Sheena's wedding all over again. And I like that. I like you said, I needed more Lala, but I loved when Lala had been yeah, we're basically trying to blow up your restaurant at this point. What
was her best line?
I was like, yeah, you know what? And you guys deserve it. I'm sorry, you do. You are insane and ridiculous. And yeah, he kept saying I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but you are making excuses for him. And I just don't know why that he can't let go. I'm like, what do you guys have on each other that you can't let go of each other? You can't just move on. You clearly have a family. There's been speculation for years that Tom basically Schwartz pays for his entire family and supports them very much so. And so why are you tying yourself to someone who clearly doesn't care about things like that and doesn't care about you, doesn't care about your family's well-being? He doesn't even care about his own mom who donated money to him. So it's you are his bitch boy. You really, really are. And I
the best.
Exactly. And I was very proud of Ariana for, like you said, putting her foot down and drawing a line in the sand. And when he made, which was so full circle to me, because at the beginning of the season, Lala said the same thing. I'm drawing a line in the sand. If you were friends with Randall, you cannot be friends with me.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. And I thought that was so full circle to happen to him out of all the people. It happened to him. And it's the same thing. And I don't understand why the boys don't get that at a certain age, when you get older and mature, there's things that you shouldn't be putting up with anymore. And you do need to go, I'm not going to be your friend anymore. Like, we're not in high school. We don't need to be friends with everybody. If someone is a vile creature, stop being friends with them. And Schwartz is still in college and is in a fraternity and thinks he has to be buddies with everybody. And he's going to, like he talked about with Katie. Katie was like, you're going to lose all of your friends. And he's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. You've literally lost all of your friends. So how's that working out for you?
Exactly. You said it so perfectly. And he continued through that conversation to just keep like trying to get sympathy. He would just like do little sprinkles of it. And Ariana was having none of it. And also to go back where you said, like, you are the company you keep. The fact that he still wants to be friends with Randall after what we know.
Which was way worse. Way worse.
Oh, I cannot wait for that documentary.
I will be on it.
Dying. Yes, same. But anyways, and I also love when he like, I told him to handle it, and she's like, I am not an it.
Thank you.
No, you are not, Ariana. And it shows the inner workings of his mind.
Yeah.
That's what she is to him.
Yeah. That's what all the women are to them. They're it's like, even Raquel, it's like, oh no, it meant something. We're this, we're that, there's a connection. There's no connection. What are you talking about? There is zero. We can see it on screen. If we want to be like real here, you did have a connection with Ariana that we could see on screen as viewers. You could tell that they at one point loved each other so much and were so infatuated with each other. And you just poo-pooed on that so hard. Like, even when Raquel and Tom hugged, like first walked in and hugged each other in the apartment, it was like there was no like real love and like connection, and there was no fighting for Ariana either. Like, if that was me and my husband, I would have been like, please, I'm so sorry. Please don't leave me. I love you so much. I can't believe I did this to you. Like, what is wrong with me? Like even Jax did that with Brittany. Mm-hmm. Even Jax, who's like the devil.
Basically.
even he like begged Brittany and like hounded her and was up her like butt all the time. I was like, please, please, please. I love you. Please. He's just like, well, we had a good run.
Yeah. The only thing when he said, he's bawling, but all he's able to say, we had some fun times.
We had some fun times.
I think he thought that was like so like big of him to say. I felt like he was proud of that moment. He's like, like people are gonna love it that I'm acknowledging our relationship, and he thought it was a slam dunk.
Sick.
No, fun times. Like, you have fun times with like, I don't know, a college party acquaintance that you did a keg stand once with.
Yes.
Like, that's not the equivalent to your life partnership with someone who's way out of your league, by the way. And
beyond.
I just couldn't. And that brings me to Sandoval and Sheena's conversation that really led to the big bomb that I've been waiting for. That's been hinted at, that he admits Miami Girl.
Yeah.
Like, with Miami Girl, even the other things that went down, what did you think about Sandoval and Sheena's conversation?
The Miami Girl thing didn't shock me because I think we all already, like, if you've been a Vanderpump fan, like, you're like, duh. Like, now at least you said it. At least you finally stopped gaslighting us into thinking that never happened. Why is some woman flying across the entire, like, Florida, California, like, that's a hop, skip, and a jump just to tell somebody that you did something dirty with them in a hotel room in Miami. Like, so it's like, yeah, we knew that. But like, thank you finally for telling us.
Hearing it actually, I don't know, it made me feel some type of way.
Yeah, you needed the validation.
I needed it. Needed it. And I'm so glad that we have it. And I was just like, my inner Kristen Dowdy was just like, she was right all along, like, justice for Kristen. That was such a moment to me.
Yeah, justice for her, justice for Miami Girl. I want to see what I wanted was exactly what we got, which was somebody else is involved. He's cheated before because
Ariana knows,
which is like, oh my God, like, holy crap. And I want to know who it is. And everybody's like, oh, it's Billie Lee. It's Billie Lee. It's not Billie Lee. It's just not. It's not her. I don't like that in the reunion, there's footage of them asking her if she's and Tom have done things together and they just like left that out. I was like, I can't believe Bravo has footage of Billie Lee and Tom talking about possibly having an affair themselves. And you guys just like didn't want us to see that until now, until like it was season 7, I think. So like 3 years later, we get to see that footage. That was concerning to me, but it's not Billie Lee, obviously. I don't know who it could be. I'm clearly Ariana knows. I want to know, and I'm going to need the investigators of the internet to send you all the messages, and then you can send me the messages because I want to know who it is. I demand answers.
I don't know if you watched Love is Blind, but when Bartise, all of a sudden he popped up as a baby daddy, TikTok within 24 hours found them all.
So let's go.
Exactly. Like, I need those people to come for us here. Please.
Yes.
Help
please.
us.
I'm begging you to do that. That's what I absolutely need. I felt next to Ariana, the next person I felt the worst for was truly Sheena, because she's my favorite cast member in this group other than Lala, because like Lala, they really do give themselves a lot. The difference is obviously Lala like took out Randall for a while, finally gave us that. But Sheena literally is just raw. She's given us so much to her detriment, might I add, not to entertain us.
Yeah.
She has put her life out there on so many levels that are so just raw. And I think that's why I keep kind of like forgiving her when she acts insane, because I'm like, she's the perfect reality TV star, like absolute perfection. And to watch her get taken advantage of by someone that she's known for 14 years, who she trusted, who she cared about, and to be repeatedly lied. And then for Tom to throw the Miami girl thing back in Sheena's face, like, oh, well, Ariana already knew about it, basically being like, well, your best friend also lied to you, so why aren't you talking to Ariana about that lie? Bro, stop deflecting. Stop pushing other things onto other people. You are a liar. You are, what Sheena said, you are sick. You are a sick person. And the only reason why, in my opinion, Tom got to talk to Sheena is because there were producers in the room. If there were no producers in the room, I don't think Brock would have let that conversation happen, because he said while he was walking out to go see Summer Moon that like, you put us in a really bad position. And like, you put us in a situation where now we have to legally take action against somebody for trying to accuse us of basically beating them to a pulp, which did not happen.
No.
And that's partially your fault. And I know for a fact he was part of that. And he was a part of the whole scam, because he literally said in the thing when they were in the Rachel's room together, saying that, Sheena said, oh, I punched that bitch. That never happened. That never happened. She didn't punch that bitch. So I don't know what you're talking about.
The moment she like poses with the scar and like smiles, like when like, oh my God, like what is happening?
They really took one.
They both disgust me.
Yeah. And I think the only reason why Sheena got to talk to him truly is because it was on TV. There was producers around, because I know Brock would have knocked him out, because he loves Sheena so much, and he put Sheena and them in such an impossible situation that's more messed up than a TV show. Like they have a child, they have a family.
This could affect that.
Right. And Brock's been in legal situations clearly before in the past in a similar type of way when he was much younger, obviously, but a similar way. And you know that. And that's really screwed up and messed up and very diabolical. And I felt really, really bad for Sheena, very bad for her.
Yeah, that point of view is so I think it's so hard because there is so many point of views here, so many moving parts that I didn't even think of that element watching the reunion
Yeah.
last night. I feel like I feel like there's gonna be so many Easter eggs just the more times I watch it.
Yes, there is. It gets worse. It gets worse. It's like, oh wait.
And I'm not gonna lie, I took an edible right before last night, so it was quite the experience. But I knew I needed to
Ooh.
rewatch it this morning.
Girl.
But I mean, it was quite the experience.
Wine wasn't enough. I should have done the same thing because man, oh man, that would have been fun.
It was a good time. All right, and then we have Ariana on Watch What Happens Live, and there's a few things I want to point on this, and we'll kind of finish this up.
Sure.
One is she also has confirmation of Miami Girl, and second, there's so many, but at least let's start and let's see where the conversation goes.
Sure.
She buried Tom Schwartz.
Yeah.
She went, and not only I think in the Vanderpump finale too, but on Watch What Happens Live, she was not putting up with anything. She went for it, and I loved every second of it. I really feel like she didn't hold back. I feel like, I mean, just perfection again. I don't know. What did you think of that? I thought that was just as good as the finale as watching Watch What Happens Live last night with her.
The thing that I found amazing about her was how respectful she was, but also made her point. She wasn't saying like zinger. No, she wasn't saying zingers. She wasn't being necessarily disrespectful. It was very much factual. A lot of the things she was saying, there wasn't a lot of like, there was like one little mic drop that Andy joked about, but overall she just kind of like was like, these are the facts. And I know these are the facts. And I know you as the audience know they're the facts. So where am I wrong? Where's the lie? And I loved that about her because Tom Sandoval disrespected Andy Cohen and Bravo so badly with the Howie Mandel thing. And I thought the most incredible middle finger to Tom Sandoval was, I'm going to wait to do any interview. And the first interview I'm going to do is with Andy Cohen, because I know how pissed Andy is about the Howie Mandel thing. I was like, you are so smart. I love you so much.
And like the first thing I think Andy said is like, well, thank you for coming on our show and not Howie Mandel's. I was like, yes. It was such a small moment, but so powerful.
Genius.
And as well as when Ariana breaks the fourth wall and talks directly to Tom Sandoval.
Chills. Because you know he's watching. He's watching.
Would not keep him away. Like he wants every sneak footage, everything. There's no way. Like he loves this. As much as people hate him, he doesn't care. Fame is fame.
No, he loves it. And Raquel is too. Like, mark my words. She is sitting in her rehab facility, wherever she is. Again, I pray to the universe she is. But she's sitting there being like, ooh, like
watching
losing
the
her
Bravo
mind.
lives on social media. We know that. I couldn't agree more. And then, we just kind of heard a little bit about her and her new beau and just her realizing that this is such a good thing. And so many things are coming to her in life.
Oh yeah. She's the one. People kept saying, she's mother. She is mother. She is number one. She is just absolutely incredible. And it's proof that she is such a good person, because this is the only human on this entire 10 seasons that everybody put their crap aside. Everybody put their crap aside and was like, we're on Team Ariana. And she even said it. She's like, I've never agreed with Jax Taylor on anything. They've on screen are like fisticuffs argued. And even they're like, yeah, you're right. Let's just agree to disagree. Like, it's totally fine. That speaks volumes to her, because nobody on this cast, old, new, now, they've never agreed on anybody on this show. There's always been two sides. There's no two sides. It's Ariana. That's it. And if you're not on Team Ariana, which is literally pretty much one person, Tom Schwartz, that's it. Bye. See ya. Don't care. And I'm proud of her for that, because nobody, for whatever reason, and myself included at times, and I think we talked about this on my podcast, where we've given Tom Schwartz so many passes. It was very nice for someone to finally go, you know what? No, I'm done. This isn't going to work anymore. He needs to be held accountable too. And I was like, okay, whatever you say, Ariana, I'm going to do. If you
Bowing
say
down
to do it, I'm doing it.
And can we talk about that fashion moment?
She is so when the fact that she doesn't think that she's as gorgeous as she is, I'm like, girl.
Stunning.
She is Sandrolina.
I
love
obsessed.
her.
And mark my words, we are going to see her win Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, she's so talented, multi-talented, and she's clearly been held back because of, Sandoval. And she's so unbelievably talented. She's going to win just in life, let alone Dancing with the Stars.
Lifetime movie.
I can't wait to see that.
Same. And I know on Dancing with the Stars, we're going to get a good as gold night. I know it. And other cast members are up. This is going to be the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, we still have the 3-part reunion, but I think there's, season 11 and it's just been so great talking to you about this because I feel like we have similar opinions and vibes, and I'm so glad that we got to do this. I know it was last minute, so I appreciate it.
No, thank you so much. Like I said to you many times, this is my brand new hobby, and I'm obsessed with it, and I will do it till the end of time to talk about Vanderpump Rules all the time, whenever I want. Mwah, I love it so much.
Same. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome, thank you.
So we have new episodes every week.
Right now, every Friday, we'll be giving you reality TV news. And next up, The Ultimatum premieres May